Dakini's got a stowaway. Having a number of firsts on this trip. First albacore, almost landed. Biggest fish, first this, first that. Hello. In this episode, David and I leave Greece. Yes, it's a sad day, not helped by some checkout dramas, but once we get out of Lefkada, we start having a great time. It's our first night sailing. We have amazing sunsets and sunrises. There are fish. We do some jennikering. The only downside is a big breakage hours before our arrival in Italy. It's a sad day. Taking the pack and preparing to check out of Greece. We're in Lefkada. We were going to sail down over 2 days to Argostoli, but that would make the checkout day very poor weather for the crossing to Italy. So we've got to go to the port police to check in, check out, get the crew list stamped, then immigration, then customs. We're on a clock because the floating bridge opens at 10. We'd really like to make the 1000 floating bridge, but we actually don't know when any of these government offices open. Exhausting experience once again checking out of Greece. Tell you all about it once we're back on board Dakini. David and I are treating ourselves to a nice coffee because we have missed our floating bridge and we've got a couple of hours to use up. That was a very unpleasant experience this morning. Port police. He said everything's fine. The customs wasn't open, so port police said, don't worry, we'll look after your transit log. Go down to the police. We found them and the police were not happy. They said, can't be done today. Port police shouldn't have let you leave. We were there for 40 minutes, lots of arguments on the phone, and then they said, go back to the port police. So we went back to the port police, filled out some paperwork, emailed it through to immigration, to the police, immigration, and then they sent us to a completely different office. There's the lady downstairs who goes, yeah, I'll stamp your passports, boom, boom, out you go. So we're still not sure what happened really, but we're now on board. We've pulled down most of our clears, checked the forecast. I think it's going to be a fast first 24 hours. Unfortunately, we've lost 2 hours today because we have to wait for another floating bridge cycle. Dakini is prepped and good to go. Got our life jackets out, safety equipment, lifelines are run, discussing no-com procedures with Kel, and David will establish the same with his wife to make sure that everything's okay. But Greek bureaucracy, it's just a terrible way to start the day, the uncertainty. At one stage they said come back Monday and we're like no, and they said come back tomorrow morning, and I said no. And sure enough, I got a really big telling off, like a massive lecture from the senior lady at the police, and then she goes okay. So it was a bit strange. Anyway, job's done. Oh, the bridge is going up. Looks like we're going to have pretty strong winds, accelerating our crossing of the Ionian Sea towards Sicily. Calimera! That guy is coming out. I wonder if they gave him a toot to hurry up. This is pretty exciting, and I've certainly got to thank David for joining me on this. He's already really demonstrating his experience. We're just rounding the top of Nisos Lefkas Island. Got one reef in because there's some pretty big gusts forecast when we get a bit further out. We're still running the port engine just to give us some stability in this horrible chop. Actually quite a large swell rolling in from the north. Luckily it's large enough that we're just going over it. One of the things we're experimenting with, pulling the Genoa out using this rig here. See how that goes. Here comes the wind. Just been studying the windy forecast, and we've got really good northerlies across the Ionian for the first sort of 12-16 hours, and then we run the risk of having to push right into a westerlies when we get on the other side. So we've come 30 degrees starboard of our direct course. Usual story, go in a funny direction to get there the quickest possible way. Must admit I'm a little nervous. This is our first overnight passage. We've motored at night. It's our first overnight passage, and it'll be our first sailing in the dark as well. Nice having an experienced sailor on board. I'm on watch. We've got about 16 knots, fine on the starboard quarter, so not the best sailing course. Just got the life jacket and lifeline on because I'm fishing, and on the off chance we catch a fish, it means I can hook straight in. Lovely evening. Ooh, interesting sea conditions here. We're heading into quite a big, slow, rolly groundswell, and then we've got, the further from land we get, the more the 18 knots in our starboard quarter is also whipping up an opposing sea. Just means it's a very uncomfortable ride. I'm getting a bit peakish, to be honest. Peaky. We've watched enough YouTube to know that nothing's going to look big on the camera, but there you go. Really need to get into the predominantly northerly flow as soon as possible, so we've brought up the port engine, get across this weird lull from where the wind is no longer blowing from the east out of Preveza, but we haven't got into the main Ionian where it's blowing from the north. It's late in the afternoon, so we're not going to shake the reef out just for an hour and a half before it gets dark. We'll definitely leave one reef in overnight. No fish. Kel will be unsurprised.
What's happening, Al?
Fish on! Don't think it's very big. Hopefully it's a little bonito enough for 2 people. It's honey, I think. Damn it. I don't need them. Well, it's nice to know the fish are out there. We've put the rod away for the night though. It is certainly nice having company on your first overnight sail. Sorry you're not here, Kel. Next time. This is our first completely overnight watch. We're actually motor sailing. There's only 10 knots of wind on the quarter and we've got a reef in. Really hoping it picks up soon so we can knock that engine back. We got one contact out at green 45. It's 4 miles. It's going to pass about 1 mile ahead. Nice to have some company. It's an incredible night. Sunrise crossing the Ionian. I'm going to do something probably I'll regret, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Try and have a quick hot shower. Knowing we've got loads of water, we did run the engine a lot yesterday. David's going to grace me 5 minutes of my watch to go and do that. And then I'm going to put the fishing rod out because it is the right time of day to get those. Early morning. Coffees, oh, it's all happening this morning. Wow, that made a massive difference. Searing hot water, shaking one reef out. We're fishing. David's going to get his head down. I'm just going to keep an eye on that apparent wind because it's picked back up again. Heading nearly directly west is not the best course for our new panels. Be interesting to see how much energy we can get back into our enormous lithium bank today. With just the 2 smaller sets of panels. We are making good time. Wind's a bit gusty, up to 12. We're usually doing 6 with it on the beam in the right direction. Heading at this stage towards Messina on Sicily. New country, new everything. It's been exciting. And we've reached the 24-hour mark. That is 1 day since we left Lefkada. Bit worried that the wind's really starting to back. We didn't make it far enough across the Ionian before the wind started coming from the west. It'll be a very challenging next 24 hours. Trying to get a bit closer to Sicily. We gave our respective safety numbers at home a 72-hour bogey time. However, I've been able to connect to Starlink, so I should be able to adjust that if needed. Windy now though. Oh, this bit's pretty tough. Atlantic Bonito! Awesome! I'm getting better at filleting these things! The bigger the easier! Bye bye! Yeah, proper fish that. So David slowed us down up into the wind. Give me every chance of landing it. It's the biggest Atlantic Bonito we've caught off Dakini. Not by a huge way, but that is quite a lot of tuna steaks. And we're going to have some of that for dinner tonight. Woohoo! Nah, lost it. It's not a bonito. Oh, lost the hook. Straight out of the crimp. Dakini's got a stowaway. Having a number of firsts on this trip. First albacore, almost landed. Biggest fish. First this, first that. He's already been inside once. David tried to get rid of him, but he didn't fly far. We might be taking him all the way to Sicily. Got to keep a lookout for the green flash. David's having a shower. We've made some hot water. We have to motor. Unfortunately, the Ionian seas let us down a bit this evening. It's really dying off. I am prepping our Atlantic Bonito, which I'm going to grill for dinner. Green flash! Missed it! So I'd say that's about a third probably of the bonito. The other two steaks are a lot bigger. Really been working on getting that raw bit in the middle. Or blue bit maybe it's called, I don't know. Trying something different to do some recording in the evening. That, in case you're wondering, that bright light behind me, that is the moon. It is amazing. These perfect time of year for a couple of really big crossings for us because we've had the moon all night. It rose just after the sunset. It was blood red. It was so cool. So unfortunately we are not making good any speed and we've got an engine running. There's just no wind. The routing hasn't worked out quite how we wanted it to, but we're committed now really to Sicily. So we will push on. Alright, we've got a little bit of wind. Probably not enough to sail without the engine, but it's really propelling us along now towards Sicily. 6 knots on the bow. It's been an incredible night. That's the moon. We're going to see the sun come up soon. Getting a lot more shipping. We can just start seeing the toe of Italy. Morning watches in the Navy are always the busy ones, 4 to 8. So you'll be helping wake the ship up, prepping everything, talking to the captain, navigator will come up for a chat, getting an idea of the weather. There's all sorts of things you do. Breakdowns, we're not doing those. So it's fun on Dakini to try and wake her up as well, you know, get the fishing rods out, brew a coffee, tidy up a little bit, just generally doing that morning routine. Like a communicator to clean the heads, but can't have everything. We can't keep the little birds out, going around the boat cleaning up the bird poo. These birds are definitely here for a rest. We shooed one off, and you just watch it fly about 10 metres astern of you, and then struggle, turn around, and then try and catch back up and land on board. So presumably once they've had a rest, they can fly off again. Check it out. Sorry I didn't film it, but it's the first time David and I have done it together. One little mishap on my account, ran one of the lines inside the guardrails. Other than that, it's looking really good. We got 9 knots sort of on the beam, really good Jenica conditions. Wow, we are flying. Really keep an eye on the Jenica because it's a 20 knot maximum true wind speed. We're up at 16. Windy's pretty confident that it's not going to get above that. We really keep an eye on the surface of the water for any potential gusts. If it does look like we're in trouble, we'll just move quickly, maybe 10-15 degrees down, and feel the Jenica. It's a benefit of a feeling Jenica is you can get it reasonably quickly, especially with 2 people. Winds come around a little bit high, so Dave and I just stowed the Jenica. Didn't do a great job of it. It's our first time in high winds. That behind me, our view, that is Mount Etna. So we're 9.5 knots on the Jenica, 5 minutes later, aiming straight at one of the most famous volcanoes in the world. What a sunset. What a day. And just like that, it's night time. We have anchored in Taormina, very well known Sicilian town. Very pretty, although I don't think the GoPro will do it justice. Unfortunately, about 2 hours before we got here, our autopilot packed it in. I've done some initial investigations and I'm worried it might be something serious, but I always am. We'll really have to move tomorrow anyway to either Catania or Messina, potentially Syracuse. Kind of depends on how autopilot fault finding goes, because that will dictate if we need to find a marina or not, or one good enough to do some maintenance. So sad finish to a great day. Still got to clean all the bird shit out of the boat though. Bastards. Well, we're now making good 6 knots with a combination of